Oh, bright lights. Bright lights in the eyes. Oh, and look, I need to fix the camera again. And I need to change the title. Well, you know, I did mention that I was not entirely awake here, and there's a reason for that. Also, it seems awfully dark in here, doesn't it? I swear I have to, every time, my camera is just being weird. That's okay. I know roughly why that is, because we have to do some things like exposure, which keeps dropping to 7, or weird things like that, and brightness gain. Yeah, okay, there we go. Much better. Much better. How are you? Hi. So I had did not have enough sleep. I don't know how much sleep I had, but I know there was not a sufficient amount. And now I'm just like looking at the screens like, okay, are we there? My microphone's here. That's how you know I am a live caster, because I have a microphone clearly in the shot. Camera is set. There we go. I look fairly human. All right, excellent. Oh, so yeah, I discovered something. Apparently, I have inherited something that happened with my father as well, which is that sometimes you just wake up in the middle of the dang night, and your brain says, nope, you've gotten all the sleep you're going to get this time around. And then you just kind of hang out and do other things. So, this has been thrown together. And there are some similarities between the songs. I think part of it is chord choices. I think all of them have, no, almost all of them have an A chord in them. This one has a lot of A chord in it, as do 2 of the other songs. So we'll play them and then we'll see what happens. Yeah? Yeah. So I feel like Possums. Possums in a trench coat come to tea. Sit right at a table like you and me. Do they want another biscuit? Better give them 3, 'cause they're not really a guy. There's 6 possums in a trench coat. Possums in a trench coat come to town. Got themselves an Uber, couldn't flag it down. Driver didn't stop, no, he just kept on going, 'cause he didn't want to drive. 6 possums in a trench coat. Possums in a trench coat see a show. Do you give them just 1 seat or the entire front row? Do the possums in the middle just peek out through the buttons? Man, I got so many questions for 6 possums in a trench coat. Bridge! Possums in a trench coat on a date. Got there 20 minutes early, couldn't stand to be late. Everything turned out to go much better than expected, 'cause their date turned out to be 6 possums in a caftan. Possums in a trench coat. Possums in a trench coat. Possums in a trench coat. 6 possums in a caftan. And we're off and running on yet another Tobias the Adequate Troubadork show. I have had half a can of Diet Coke and 4 hours of sleep, and I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong. Oh. So, what a difference a weekend makes, huh? Yeah, try not to get too caught up in things, but this weekend has been very transformational for many of our mindsets. And actually, I found out about it because my mom texted me. That was how excited she was. She doesn't text me for random stuff and just, what? Oh, wow, really? And I went and checked it. Son of gun if it wasn't the case. So we'll see how things go from here. That Possums in a trench coat, by the way, real quick, I just want to give credit where credit is due, of course. The illustration for the Possums in a trench coat is, of course, by the inimitable Mel White, someone I have known for just about long enough for both of us to feel slightly uncomfortable talking about how long we've known each other. She drew it, and then y'all helped name all these possums here, starting from the top, of course. You got Geraldine, then we got either Bob or Roberto. Then we've got, yeah, well, you know, of all the reasons to have a headache, we had plenty of those. So we have Bob Roberto, then we've got Sophia, then Cameron, and then Roberto Bob, and then George, aka Hatchback. And Cameron is the inspiration, because Cameron told me that they were in fact 3 possums in a trench coat, and if 3 possums in a trench coat is funny, 6 possums in a trench coat is freaking hilarious. So there you are. And here we are. And let's do some, we're going to do some more original stuff, because I can. As a matter of fact, we're going to do a song that, if all goes well, the person the song was written for and about is probably sleeping right now. We can certainly all do with some sleep. Let's see. There we go. It's like, what chord is that? I don't know, but it sounds neat. I'll have to put it in somewhere. Like I said, sleep? Nah, not really. Remember what a chord is? Cold nights, long days, up north, just a ways, flying cyclist through the dawn, got his helmet and his goggles on. Aw man in Finland, aw man in Finland. Days sitting around, gotta get up, head into town, find the way down to the square, got some Phoenix waiting there. Aw man in Finland, aw man in Finland. Square, take in the sights, then ride off into Helsinki's night. Call sorry can't eat. Not the plan. All Helsinki respects a man. A man in Finland. A man in Finland. Still like that one. That was one that Richard suggested that I write about Teppo, and who's our man in Finland, quite literally. He's the guy who inspired Snowing in Helsinki, which you heard last week, and then I wrote Our Man in Finland about 2 weeks ago, and I'm bringing it into the rotation, because I'm gradually coming up with a bunch of songs that I can do that I don't owe anybody anything for, which is kind of cool. Speaking of songs that I don't owe anybody anything for, this next one is one that's fairly new. Oh, by the way, there is actually, before I get off this song, there is actually a Finnish word in this song. Carl Sarikanit. That was in the last verse. Carl Sarikanit, not the plan. Carl Sarikanit, I told you I haven't had a lot of sleep. It's actually a Finnish word, which means to sit around in your house, in your underwear, getting drunk. They have a word for that. I thought that was kind of neat. And it's a good word, too. All right, so next song is dedicated to 2 or 3 of my friends, because I have... Shockingly enough, I have more than one friend who plans on being an overlord. Not an edgelord, an overlord. Generally benign. And I think at one point they have actually met. They have at least met online. So there's probably some accords and some arrangements being done. As far as, the divvying up of, who gets to have dominion over what and stuff like that. This is the A chord puts in another appearance. Like I said, the first 3 songs all have an A chord in them, which is kind of interesting because most of what I have is kind of like, doesn't have A chords in them. So, but it does have a certain feel to it. Now, the real question I have here is, am I going to be able to play this song as enthusiastically as it deserves? Because at first I just had this riff. I had this A, F sharp minor, A, F sharp minor, G7, A, G7, A. Then I got D7, C7, G7, A. Let's do it. Don't want to run things, but my friend can. They've got charisma, they've got the plan. My buddy's got the means, and by them I'll stand. When it comes to world domination, I'm their biggest fan. Well, I just can't wait to watch their plans unfurl when I help my friend take over the world. World's a messy place, so much to solve. My friend will let the challenge quell their resolve. They're gonna need some friends to implement their plan, and I'll be quite happy to be their right-hand man. Well, maybe like 3rd or 4th in the chain. I mean, after all, somebody's got to handle like the logistics and the paperwork, right? Well, I just can't wait to watch the plans unfurl when I help my friend take over the world, Rich. Now, they're not evil, don't get me wrong. They're intense moral, their ethics strong. They're simply gonna guide us to a better land. You'll barely watch my plans unfurl when I help my friend take over the world. I like that one. I do like that one. The necessity for more caffeine because you keep getting your words on weird. Thankfully, I've got stuff to actually read over here so I can keep track of this stuff. Yes, Diet Coke. Because some of us just like our fizzy brown chemical water. That's right. At this point, my bloodstream is approximately 20% Diet Coke. I have effectively achieved immortality due to all the formaldehyde involved. There we go. Hey, so I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you've all had a chance to breathe some. Because it's been... yeah. Oh, Lordy. There's a horizon. I see a horizon over there. You know, it's like we've all had to deal with a whole lot of stuff, and I want to congratulate each and every person who sees this on having made it this far. I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know, where you stand, but let's be honest. If you're part of the demographic for this show, I'm really glad you've made it this far. I really am, sincerely. And not just because you're watching this show, either live or in reruns, because I'm really big in syndication, apparently. Last one, and this is a good one. I wanted to end out with this song. I've actually put off playing it for a little bit, but I'm going to do this one because it was inspired by a cartoon from Cat's Cafe, the same folks who brought us Platypus Postman. And it is Kaiju Coffee. And because I'm not certain when the last time I did this is, I am going to bring up the notes on it. Because so much or so little, something. Oh, by the way, I will be doing, I've been putting off doing a hot take from my truck. I think I'm doing that tomorrow. I was going to do it today, but then I got no sleep. It's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to manage that right now. So we're going to do this one instead, and it'll be fun. Because this is, as Izzy described it, a surf punk tune about getting caffeine to giant mutant monsters. Kaiju. Let's really try this. You never forget which part you're going to start with? There you go. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Helps them not fall asleep from the depths of the sea to the city downtown. Kaiju gotta get up and start roaming around. But that decades-long slumber is real hard to shake off. What they need is a gallon of that bubbly black stuff. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Helps them not fall asleep. Just because you're a giant don't mean that you don't have needs. Sometimes some liquid ambition helps you perform great deeds. You gotta level a city first thing in the AM. You need a tank-sized latte, get you going again. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Helps them not fall asleep. Giant robots need fuel, and man, a kaiju does too. You gotta have the big jolt from 10 gallons of brew. Kaiju cannot beat fire if their stove isn't lit. Chuck down a macchiato and their flame will not quit. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Rising up from the deep. Kaiju. Kaiju coffee. Helps them not fall asleep. Kaiju. Bang! Pyro! Blackout! Thank you for coming! Bang the ukulele on the door, on the table. That's alright. I think this is actually sturdier than the desk I'm currently using, but we'll see. And so, we have managed, once again, to come to a successful culmination of 4 songs, or 1 set, here at the Tobias the Adequate Troubadork show. I've gotten the camera almost working. And it actually looks pretty good because the lighting doesn't make it look like my hair is thinning as much as it actually is. Before you ask, no, not shaving it. Asked about that, but I got a very firm no from Amy, and she's the one who has to look at me more than anybody else, so she's got the priority over that. Oh my gosh, my golly gosh, and gee willikers. Thank you guys for hanging out with me again. We will continue to do this until such time as I will wind up having to go back to the day job on a regular daily basis, and will not in fact be here instead of driving home. In the event that happens, we will probably set up to do a weekly show, which will probably be longer, and possibly Sunday, maybe Saturday, I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes, you know? Sunday, it may actually be a Sunday afternoon show, which means I'll get probably about the same number of people that I get watching the show now, and then a bunch of people catching it in reruns, and that's fine. I don't mind syndication. I don't mind syndication at all. The uke is a percussion instrument. Sometimes it is. It only has one note as a percussion instrument, though. Thunk. Sometimes music sounds like thunk. So, once again, we do live in a capitalistic society, so I got some paperwork to get out of the way, because my friend who has taken the marketing classes tells me that you have to advertise something at least 7 times before it sticks in people's brains, so here we go. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who watches, and I want to thank the folks who have been kind enough to throw money at me via, hello. It's not working. I have to push the other button. Via the tip jar over there. There it is. Wow. Yep, I had my little keypad thingy decided to die a horrible death. There it is. And that is paypal.com/theadequate and Venmo @theadequate. I have to look at the screen to remind myself what these are because, you know, Venmo is what you hip cool kids use, apparently. And I want to thank Eric and Robert and Rick and Emily and Miranda for tossing some money at me. Any money that comes to me through anything goes back into the show or back into keeping theadequate.com open, which is now open for business and will eventually be expanded to be even larger and sillier. Now, some of these people have even given me money like twice, which makes me question their judgment. Not as much as I question the judgment of my Patreon peeps over here at patreon.com/theadequate. And that's Chris and Teppo and Shay and Cascuro and Linda and Ann and Stephen and Rob and Alicia and Relly and BK and Kaylee and Richard and John and Brian and Lorene, who have been my Party On, Party Down Patreon patron people. Chris, Teppo, and Shay all came wandering in October. And kind of y'all just level me every time I look at that list, because that's a lot of people demonstrating some faith to me, and I'm just trying very hard to be worthy of it. You're gonna get the stuff. I'm gonna mail the stuff that I mail out to everybody at the $5 and up level probably this week. So do not panic. It is going to be on its way. And yes, Teppo, I am sending you my copy of Grabs Him by the Crutch and Throws Him Out the Window, because it will be so much easier for me to buy a new copy of it from Master Hasselhoff than it will for me to buy it and have them shipped to you. So we're good there. You also get previews of stuff, some babbling and gibbering. You got to hear me unload my brain. If you go to the patreon.com site, you'll actually see a little rambling screed about how much fun it is to do a whole bunch of Ask Philo podcasts, one after the other, which is what I did this Sunday, which may be why I didn't get a lot of sleep. I don't know. Hard to tell. The archives all live over here. Haha! I will figure out, by the time we're done with this, I will know which way to point. Facebook.com and Twitch.tv/TobiasTheAdequate. It's the Facebook Tobias the Adequate fan page. Twitch keeps 2 weeks of shows open, and there's some highlights, but not a lot, because I'm not that good at this stuff. Ask Philo is a little short podcast I do once a week. I got 13 episodes, and I think episode number 8 will be going out this Friday, where Philo Thibodeau Headbecker Kneecap, a Rednecromancer from northern southeast Texas in Atchafalaka County, answers your questions about life, the dark arts and crafts, why you're not allowed in Build-A-Bear no more, giant Home Depot skeletons, and other items of interest. Do check it out. You can find it over here at anchor.fm/theadequate or anywhere the Adequate podcast can be found, including Spotify. So you can actually just crank that up. None of them are more than 15 minutes long, so it's a nice way to kill a commute. If you got some dang chore you got to do that you just want to keep your mind off of it, you can listen to Philo Thibodeau Headbecker Kneecap explain a number of things, not the least of which being why dyslexia is extremely detrimental to your ambitious young Rednecromancer. That actually comes up in a couple more episodes here from my cousin. But I will get on to that later on, and it will all be fine. And hey, look at us. We made it. Oh, thank y'all. Do the like, rate, review, share, inflict this on random strangers. Shout it out, Windows. Because that's how we spread the word. And I know that the more of you watch, the more likely I am to continue to do this. Although, let's be completely frank about this. I will continue to do this until such time as it is no longer practical. Because I'm me. I mean, if you watched this, you've probably met me. At least in passing. So you know what I'm talking about. This never really shuts up. I'm working on another song. I finally got the rest of the verses to thank you for coming to my TED Talk done. And that is going to be very much in the style of Mike Nesmith. Speaking of which, I am working on getting Circle Sky back under control, because there's going to be a point at which I'm going to play that song entirely unironically, because it looks like we've made it once again. I think that's a good way to wrap this one up, actually. Looks like we've made it once again. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. It's always been a treat. Y'all have been wonderful. I've been Tobias the Adequate. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. And I will talk to y'all next time around. Take care.